weekend a year, hundreds of ventriloquists descend on Erlanger, Kentucky for the Venthaven Ventriloquists Convention. The place to go to see voices being thrown and lips not moving. It's no coincidence that the convention is in northern Kentucky, because that's where the Venthaven Ventriloquism Museum is located.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Annie Roberts.
Tell us where we are.
We are at Venthaven Museum, the world's only museum dedicated to ventriloquism.
Now, it all started with a guy that lived here collecting dummies, and I use dummies in the best way.
Yes, his name was W.S. Berger, William Shakespeare Berger. He was a collector of all things ventriloquial, and...
Is that a real word?
Yes.
He's got quite a complex here. Did he run out of space in the main building?
For a while, he kept the collection in the house, but when he got a lot of figures and his wife said, that's enough, he sold his car and moved them all out to his garage. And then eventually he filled up the garage and built a second building in honor of his wife and filled up that building. And at the time of his death in 1972, he had collected about 500 figures.
Wow.
Welcome to Venthaven Museum.
Does anybody ever get creeped out when they first come in here?
Some people do, yes. This is Tommy Baloney. He was the first figure in the collection. W.S. Berger purchased him in 1910.
Then you got the monkey.
Yes, Jocko the monkey. If we asked the ventriloquist, if you could have one figure in the collection, who would you take?
Jocko.
Many of them are like, I'll take Jocko.
It's because you don't have to voice too many words. You just have to go, hoo, hoo, ha, 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 ha. It's easy.
This building is chronological. So these dummies are dating back to the early 20th century.
Here's a dummy with a dummy.
Jerry J. Jerry, and then Jose Garcia was his sidekick.
All ethnicities are represented.
It's an international collection. We have about 28 countries represented. Senior Wences. Senior Wences was one of the most famous ventriloquists during the Ed Sullivan period. He was excellent, but the reason that he was on Ed Sullivan so often was because he lived down the street from the theater. So if an act canceled, Sullivan will call him up and say, Wences, put on your tux.
If a ventriloquist shows up at the museum and says, oh, can I just try that one out? Do you let him take them off the shelf?
Not at all, not even close. No, they're museum pieces.
And you still get donations, don't you?
Yes, 20 or 30 a year.
Here's a well-known doll. It's Lester, who paired with Willie Tyler, right?
Yes, yes.
How long have you been a ventriloquist? A long time.
I've been a ventriloquist I started when I was 10 years old, back in Detroit. Yeah. Detroit, that's French.
I guess the fact that I'm Mike Lester means you're the winner. How real is Lester to you?
He's like my alter ego. Do you love me? Yeah.
Lester sings, but you don't. Is that the deal?
No, we both sing. Yeah. Can you do this? No, if he only had one friend left, it would be me. So
I think he's putting words in your mouth.
Hey, you're psychic. He's psychic.
I would have loved to see this act. A guitarist who also did a ventriloquist act while he played?
Yes, strum. He was used by Jim Barber, who's out of Branson.
How would he do it? He'd need a third hand to work the puppet's mouth.
Well, you can see the lever is there on the...
Ventriloquism can be learned.
Anybody can do ventriloquism.
You mean even me?
Yes. It's very difficult to do well.
Building number 2?
Yes.
What's in here?
It's a mismatch of the collection.
Some of them are just heads. They lost their bodies.
This is the most valuable part of the figure. The body is basically just a box that you put clothes on. But this is where the artistry and the mechanics are.
How many dolls do you have total?
We have 1,017 figures. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's not very many female dummies in the collection. Out of 1,000 figures, we have about 68 women dummies.
You're clearly resentful.
No, it's an observation.
DARCI LYNNE.
Yes, DARCI LYNNE was the third ventriloquist to win America's Got Talent.
I won America's Got Talent season 12 in 2017.
And your claim to fame kind of is singing, right? You sing a duet with your puppet.
Yes, so I'm a singing ventriloquist.
But I guess you can't sing harmony.
No.
That would be impossible.
That has not yet been done. Maybe I'll do it, you never know.
Building 3, and here's a special corner over here.
These figures are what we call the McElroy figures because they were made by two brothers, George and Glenn McElroy. And what is unique about these figures is they have so many different facial expressions.
But their eyes are all the same.
Yes, you know what their eyeballs are actually made out of? Ping pong balls.
You've got a full collection of presidents, right?
Yes, these were used by ventriloquist Jim Teeter. The tallest dummy in the collection is Reuben Hickory. He stands 7 feet tall. He was used by Jay Johnson.
Jay Johnson, the guy from Soap.
Yes.
Your first big break was Soap, wasn't it?
Well, yeah,
Kinda?
you know, I thought my first big break was working at Six Flags Over Texas, but not everyone knew that. So
Thought you'd peaked early?
Thing. Yeah, well.
Do you see the puppet and say, okay, here's the voice for this guy? Or do you come up with a voice and say, make me a puppet for that voice?
Well, if you're going to do one or the other, it's do the voice and then find a puppet.
Yeah.
Because you get enamored by a beautiful face, and then you realize there's no heart and soul. So you start from the heart and soul.
But they tell me that a ventriloquist starts from the stomach.
The word ventriloquist actually means to speak through your stomach.
That's the first I've heard that.
Really? Yeah, Why would they come up with such a weird word if it weren't true?
That's a good point.
It says right there, your name is Spalding. Oh, hi. Yeah, and your name is Jay. Right, Jay Crew. No, Jay Johnson.
Back in the day, if you're a ventriloquist and admitted that you were doing these spiritual voices, heresy, you could...
Heathen.
Absolutely.
The hell you say? Be honest, there was a time when a lot of people thought ventriloquism, dying art.
Well,
not anymore, right?
Well, never. It was never that way. Vaudeville was huge. Radio made it huge because of Bergen. Television hits, and you had Jerry Mahoney and Paul Winchell and Sherry Lewis and...
Lamb chop.
Yes, used by Sherry Lewis. Would you like to see Cecil Wigglenose, a McElroy in action?
I would. Thank you very much.
This is the system of controls. So you've got the upper lip and the mouth, of course, which are typical. So that's the nose, and the tongue, the shell winker, the ears, the cross-eyed, and the fright wig.
From the Vent Haven Museum, we hightailed it over to the convention to mix and mingle with a bunch of dummies.
It's raining ventriloquists here at the Holiday Inn.
Yeah, we're down a little bit. We're only about 425. We usually go between 500 and 600. We try to keep the art alive through live performances and classroom things. Plus, we have about 30 dealers that sell puppets, scripts, all kinds of things related to ventriloquism.
For the characters I perform with in my show, I always start with the voice first. I create what I call a character profile, which allows me to learn about the character and write for it easily, and then I create the puppet in my workshop garage. Harry and Dick Dickerson. Or twins. Yes.
Do you get a little too close to your puppets sometimes, and maybe they take on a real...
You're a little too close to me right now, sir. I started actually performing for money when I was 8, and I performed at Disneyland when I was 12.
And peaked at 15.
Yeah, it's called puberty, dude. Puberty.
How did you get started as a ventriloquist?
I was a part of a comedy team.
Yeah.
And my partner moved back to Pittsburgh.
So you needed a partner.
So I needed a partner.
How many
I want to
puppets?
drink water.
How many puppets do you have? Is this your main guy?
No, I have lots of them.
You laughed at him?
Yeah, I have ones that look like me, and that way, in case I can't be there.
Would you consider this guy your alter ego, maybe?
What do you think? I hope not. All puppets have some part of you in there.
This is you on a 10-day bender, maybe. You know?
I like beer. Yeah, I know you like beer.
Wise men say
it's uncanny.
Only fools rush in.
It's too good to be true.
But I can't help.
And his hair is perfect.
Falling in love with you.
When I first started out teaching myself, all I had was a sock. That's all I could afford as a,
Start simple.
And that's where I started. I didn't see ventriloquists who looked like me, so Willie Tyler. And when I saw Willie and Lester doing that, I said, I can do that too.
The last night of the convention featured performances by some of the best ventriloquists around, starting with Taylor Mason and a pig named Ramon.
We're in Kentucky. I'm gonna die. No, you're not. They're very nice. They're hungry. No, it's okay, man. They've already eaten. Is this a convention? Yep, they're hungry. Okay, man. There's a lot more to Kentucky than just food. I don't like football. You are a great ventriloquist. Thank you. Why don't you? A bodos gadita, a why don't you? Ask you the odo, a bodos gadita, a why don't you? Itten ditten little kitten, open boatin' little boatin', ask you the odo, rock me nana like a wagon wheel. No, we're not singing that song.
I don't like to be at the convention, Bob, but we have a lot of fun. We don't. I'm so scared that this will be our last trip. What do you mean? Go to the museum, and I end up staying there, and I'm sitting next to Jocko going, what the hell happened? How did we get here? When are you going to work? When am I? Are you going to keep repeating the same thing I say? No, I just don't understand. When am I going to work? Yeah, I just did. Yeah, when you do that, that's when I work. What? That's it. What? Did it again. What? That's it. That right there. You doing it now? Not now. That right there. That but not now. See, by the time you do it, I'm done. That right there. That, and I'm done. Ladies and gentlemen, a person who really needs no introduction. None at all. Our good friend, Willie Tyler. Here we are.
That's a nice shirt. Yeah. How much did it cost? I got 10 for $1. 10 for $1? Yeah. Why so cheap? Because all the shirts have a hole in the back.
How you gonna